Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Bryndís, and in this video, I'm taking you with me on my maiden journey into the fantasy world of Brandon Sanderson. I am very excited to read, finally, my first Brandon Sanderson fantasy series. So this is obviously just the first book. So I'm gonna start with the Mistborn series. And this is the first book in the Mistborn series called The Final Empire. I have to tell you that I don't really know all that much about Brandon Sanderson or his books. He's a relatively new author to me. I am just very interested in branching out in my fantasy reading. To be honest with you, like almost all of the fantasies that I've read have been J.R.R. Tolkien. So I know Middle-earth very well, but I thought maybe it's time for me to look at other worlds as well. And Brandon Sanderson's name comes up all the time when you Google, fantasy authors. Obviously, he is hugely famous and he's a huge name in the fantasy world. And he's written a lot of books. But I thought, so I'm going to start with the Mistborn series. I Googled how to start to read Brandon Sanderson. And most of the suggestions were this book. So I'm starting with this one, The Final Empire, which is the first book, like I said, in the Mistborn series. And I'm just going to read the back of the book. The mists rule the night. The Lord Ruler owns the world. For 1,000 years the ash fell. For 1,000 years the Ska slaved in misery and lived in fear. For 1,000 years the Lord Ruler reigned with absolute power and ultimate terror, divinely invincible. Every attempted revolt has failed miserably. Yet somehow hope survives. A new kind of uprising is being planned, one that depends on the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind and the courage of an unlikely heroine, a Ska street urchin who must learn to master allomancy, the power of a Mistborn. That sounds very interesting. So what I'm going to do in this video is, I have not started this book. It is a big book. Today is the 24th of June, and we will just see how long it takes me. I'm hoping that it's just the type of book that I will not be able to put down, and I can just read and finish quickly, because it's going to be that engaging. But if not, we'll see. But I'm still not like in a hurry or anything. But so I'm gonna take you along on the ride. I'm gonna do like clips here and there talking about my reactions as I have them, and then we will do like my reflections about the book at the end of the video. And hopefully obviously I will be very excited about getting the rest of the books. I really look forward to diving into it, and will tell you what I'm thinking about as I read it. So I have last night there was the first day that I read the book, started to read the book. I got like 83 pages in. I'm in now chapter 5, about to start chapter 5. And as I kind of knew going into this book, I love it so much. I think the world there that he's built here is very interesting. With the ash and the kind of hierarchy, super interesting. The magic, I'm kind of just starting to get to know the allomancy. And then the difference between and a Mistborn and an allomancer, and it sounds really interesting, and I'm kind of just starting to understand that. I like Ben, the main character. I really like. Oh, I'm so bad with. I always forget character names. Yeah, Vin. Sorry, not Ben. What's his name? Kiki. Oh, Kelsier. Sorry. I really like him. So this book definitely gives me. I can see some elements from The Hobbit, and when the dwarves come to Bilbo's hole, and they are like planning basically a heist as well of the dragon's hoard, right? And then looking for a burglar. So here I can definitely see that, but this feels also kind of like Ocean's 11. This really cool gang of kind of friendly criminals are come together and plan. There's like this super charismatic leader, like the George Kelsier is definitely a little bit George Clooney-ish, or this young George Clooney-ish, and his friend, so bad, as something, is like, would be Brad Pitt. So this is, and those are like, I love those movies. Oh my God, Cat. And yeah, so I love the setup of them kind of starting a heist, which is basically toppling an empire. That's just really, really fun to me. I read like 83 pages yesterday, and these are, they're not that like dense. So it's, I'm so happy that I'm loving it. Like I said, I didn't know a lot about it, but I did know, like, with the people who like this, the type of fantasy that a lot of them like is the type of fantasy I like. A lot of them are Tolkien fans like myself, and so Game of Thrones fans as well. And so this is, I'm so excited to continue. I have completely forgotten to update you as I've been reading this book, and I am now finished. I did take like a few day break in between, but I think it took me like 5 days to read this book. Like I've already said, it's very engaging, and it's quite fast paced, so there are not a lot of calm like sections that are where nothing is happening, which is excellent. So it was very difficult to put it down, and I just kind of read like the last half of it in like a couple of sittings, because it was just really good. So my overall view of this book is that this is really good fantasy, for sure. It is very YA, and you can definitely feel that when you're reading it. It's probably I think that when I would have been like in my teens, I would have just devoured this book if it had been published back then. It's exactly the type of things that I loved when I was young. I still love a lot of those things, but it definitely reads quite young for me. I think that's just because I'm so used to reading heavier, classics and some heavier literature. I mean, The Hobbit, for example, is also very young. Obviously, it was written as a children's book. The Lord of the Rings, I think, are more adult-based for sure. And this is maybe somewhere in between. But I liked the character. I was immediately a little bit annoyed when Vin sees Elrond, and there's like this, oh, he's so cute, oh my God, type of a thing going on. I'm reading Jane Austen at the moment, so there's definitely a little bit of Darcy and Lizzie kind of atmosphere there, because he seemed very like arrogant and everything like that, but he wasn't really. So, I mean, that was cute. But, personally, I'm not a big romance or romantasy fan. So, it could very well have done without all of that. And her thinking is definitely, I mean, she is only like 17. So it's quite understandable. And, but it didn't ruin the book for me at all. I really enjoyed this book. And even the fact that it reads very young, it doesn't mean that I didn't like it. What I really loved the magic system. And I think it's very complicated, but Brandon Sanderson does it so well that you start to really understand what the different metals do and like what the Mistborns do. And, the pushing and pulling on the metal and all of those things. And like, if you get confused, there's like at the end of the book, there is like a list of what each metal does. There's a good map also here at the beginning somewhere. Where is it? The map of the Final Empire, so you can kind of see where everything is, and of Lutetal, the city. So that's really all well done, and so if you get confused, it's very easy for you to figure out what's happening or where people are and what they're doing. I really like this build up of the kind of suspense or tension in regards to the mists, and I like the fact that it's plural. It's not mist, it's mists, which I think is really, really kind of, I don't know, it just adds something to the mist. And it's the mists are not fog, they're mists, they're different. So it's very different. I think that he builds up the kind of how scary the Inquisitors are really well, and like they are just like, oh my god. And also the enemy, the Lord Ruler. I think that it's done really well, and I like how he is kind of this obscure person right until the end, and then when they discover who he actually is in the end, is really, I think, really well done. So this is absolutely an excellent book, and like I said, it was very engaging, and it just captivated me immediately, so much that I've already started reading book number 2. And I'm probably gonna go that straight into book number 3 and probably the rest of the series. I think according to this one, there are 6. I thought there was 7, but maybe I'm confusing them with another series. So I would 100% recommend this book. I think both for seasoned fantasy readers, but probably especially if you have not read a lot of fantasy, but you would like to maybe try it out. I think that this could be an excellent choice, because it's like I said, it's, even though there are the magic system and all the world and everything, it doesn't feel overly complicated. So I think that this could be a really good kind of first book if you're not used to fantasy very much. So my final verdict is that I'm gonna give this 5 stars. Now it would be probably 4.5 if I did half stars, but I find that 4 stars is too little. So I'm gonna give it 5 stars. It is 100% something I would recommend. And so if someone would ask me if they like how to start to read fantasy, this is the book. So I can understand why this is recommended. And even if you're a seasoned fantasy reader, I would still recommend that you read this, because I think the world is very interesting and very fascinating. So I'm very happy that I read this book, and I can't wait to continue on with the series. So that was my little spiel about The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. It's probably just a very short video, but I still wanted to make it because I was interested in kind of documenting my first experience reading Brandon Sanderson, and I've been wanting to read him for a little while now. I'm very happy that I started with this series, and like I said, I can't wait to continue on with it. And then after I've done this series, I can't wait to start with like Way of Kings and his other work. So I'm very excited about all of that. But I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and hopefully it was somewhat helpful. If you have read this series or would be interested in it, let's chat about it in the comments. So thank you for watching. See you in my next one. Bye.